friends, and welcome back to my channel. Today, I want to make a Christmas stocking. For this project, you're going to need some yarn. I've gotten out of my stash all of my red and green yarns, and I made a few new balls with multiple strands of red, green, and white. This one I've got a little bit of rainbow. The weight of this yarn ends up being probably a number 4. If you're going to just use one color or one strand, use a number 4 weight. But if you've got lots of scraps lying around, this one is a great stash buster. You'll also need a crochet hook for this. I'm going to be using a 4.5mm hook today. You'll also need some scissors, as well as a yarn needle to weave in your ends. So, gather your supplies and let's jump in. So for this stocking pattern, we're going to be using one of my favorite methods. This is the shape we're going to be going for, but we're going to be working it flat. So instead of making 2 stocking shapes and sewing them together, we're going to open it up, and we're basically going to be making an extra wide letter T, but we're going to be doing it upside down. So we're going to start from the bottom here, we'll work our way up, and then we'll come in several stitches on both sides and continue working our way up. And once we finish, we'll fold it over and then we'll stitch down all the sides. So let's do it. I'm going to begin with the red yarn. First things first, we're gonna do a slip knot. From here, chain 80. 1, 2, 3, 77, 78, 79, and 80. Your chain should be about 24 inches long at this point, 2 feet. Now in the second chain from the hook, 1 and 2, we're going to do a single crochet. So insert, yarn over the hook, pull up a loop, you've got 2 loops on the hook, yarn over again, and pull through those 2 loops. Insert the hook into the next chain stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through the remaining 2 loops. And I'm going to do that all the way across for the first row. I'm going to zoom through this part, and I'll meet you at the end of row number 1. Here I am coming up to the end of row number 1. I'm gonna put my last couple of single crochets in here, and then in the last stitch, I'll do my single crochet, and then to turn the row around, we're going to do a chain 1, and then you can turn the work. Now for row number 2, we're going to start with a single crochet in the first stitch. Then we're gonna chain 1, then we're gonna skip the next single crochet, and in the one after that, we'll do another single crochet. And then chain 1, skip 1, single crochet in the next stitch. And then chain 1, skip 1, single crochet in the next stitch. This is called the linen stitch. It makes it look kind of like a knitted stitch, which is a look that I'm really loving this year. So I'm going to continue that all the way across for row number 2 in the linen stitch. I'm gonna zoom through the rest of this because it's the exact same repeat over and over, and I'll see you at the end of row number 2. Here I am at the end of row number 2. I'm gonna put my last single crochet in, but I'm gonna change colors at this point. So I'm starting my last single crochet. I've inserted the hook and pulled up a loop. Now I'm gonna go ahead and trim my yarn, and then I'm going to bring in my next color. And I think I want to bring in my green mixture here. So I've got my single crochet started, and then I'm going to finish my single crochet with the green yarn, like that. And then I'll do my chain 1 and turn just with the green yarn. Ta-da! Now for row number 4, we're going to start with a single crochet in the first stitch. Now in the next stitch, which is going to be the space, the chain 1 space, we're gonna put another single crochet. Then we're gonna chain 1. And now we're gonna skip 1 and we're gonna single crochet into the chain 1 space. And then we're gonna chain 1, we'll skip the next stitch and single crochet into the chain 1 space. You can see at this point that I am also crocheting over the tails, so I don't have anything to weave in at the end. So I'm gonna repeat this all the way across, chain 1, and then single crochet into the chain 1 space from the previous row. Chain 1, then single crochet into the chain 1 space from the previous row. I'm just going to repeat that all the way across for row number 3. Here I am coming up to the end of row number 3. I just put my last single crochet into that chain 1 space, and now there's 1 single crochet at the end of the row, and we're going to put a single crochet into there. So now you can see we're going to end up with single crochets all along the side of the work, which will make it easier when we're putting it together in the end. Then I'm going to chain 1 and turn. Now for row number 4, we're going to start with a single crochet in the first stitch. followed by a chain 1, and then working into the chain 1 space from the previous row, we'll do a single crochet. And then chain 1, work into the chain 1 space from the previous row. Chain 1, single crochet into the chain 1 space from the previous row. And we're just going to repeat that all the way across for row number 4. I'll meet you at the end of row number 4 to show you what we're going to do next. Here I am at the end of row number 4. I'll just put my last single crochet into the chain 1 space, and then there's 1 single crochet left. So I'm going to put a single crochet into there. However, I want to switch yarn colors again. So I'm going to trim my green yarn, and I'm going to switch in to this white, red, and gray yarn. And we're going to do the exact same thing again. So I'm going to finish my single crochet here with the new yarn color, and then I'll do a chain 1 with the new yarn color and turn the work. Then I'm going to start my next row with a single crochet in that first stitch, and then I'll chain 1, skip 1, and single crochet into the first chain 1 space of that row. And then it's going to be a repeat of the same thing all the way across. So I'm going to chain 1 and then single crochet into the chain 1 space from the previous row, all the way across for row number 5. Now from row number 5 all the way up to row number 20, I am going to complete the exact same thing. So I'm going to go back and forth, switching every 2 rows between colors, but the exact same stitches, single crochet, chain 1, single crochet into the chain 1 space from the previous row, and I'm going to be ending each row with a single crochet. We're hoping at that point that we should be around 4 inches, maybe 5 inches wide for our band, but I'm going to zoom through this part and I will meet you back here once I get to the end of row number 20. Here I am coming up to the end of row number 20. I'm just going to put my last couple of stitches in here, do my last single crochet in the chain 1 space, and then my last single crochet in the last single crochet space. And then I'm going to chain 1 and turn. Isn't this cute? See how it kind of looks like a knitted stitch because of those little V's that we did with our single crochets. Now for row number 21, I'm going to use the same color that I was using, which just happens to be the red again, and I'm going to put 1 single crochet in each stitch across. This is going to make it easier when we are sewing this together in the end. So I'm just going to put 1 single crochet in each stitch across for row number 21. And I'll zip through this and I will meet you at the end of row number 21. By the way, that means I'm putting 1 single crochet in the single crochet stitches and 1 single crochet in the chain 1 space, just to straighten up that row when we're putting it together. Here I am at the end of row number 21. I'll put my last single crochet in there, and at this point we're going to trim the yarn and we are actually done with this part of the rectangle. So here we are. At this point, our rectangle should be just about 5 inches long. Once we block it out, it will be. It's about 5 inches wide at this point, and that's what we're looking for. So this is going to be the bottom part of the foot. Now we need to count in stitches and mark a spot from both ends, and then we're going to be crocheting in between those 2 points. Let me grab some stitch markers for this. Now I'm going to count 12 stitches in from each side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And I'll just mark that spot, and same thing on the other side. And then I'll mark it in that stitch. And we are going to be crocheting between these 2 points. And when we fold the work over, like as a stocking, you'll see at this point, it's going to end up being 6 inches wide across the top of the stocking. So we've got a 5-inch band and then a 6-inch band for the top section of the stocking. Now, before we start the next section, I'm going to take a second here and just weave in the end from this first section, just so I don't have to worry about it when I'm finishing up the work. All right, now we're beginning row number 22, and we're going to begin row number 22. We've got our marked stitch. The stitch after that, I'm going to insert my hook and I'm going to pull up a loop in my new yarn color. And then I'm going to drop the tail of the new yarn color and I'm going to chain 1. Now into that same stitch, I'm going to do a single crochet, just like that. Then I'll chain one again, and then I'm gonna skip one and then single crochet in the next stitch. And I'm going to do that all the way across until I meet my next stitch marker. So I'm gonna zoom through this part and I'll see you when I get to the next stitch marker. All right, here I am at the stitch before the stitch marker. I did a chain one and then a single crochet, and now I have one stitch left. I'm gonna go ahead and put another single crochet in there with no chain one in between because it's the end of the row. Then I'm gonna chain one and turn. Now for row number 23, we can begin with a single crochet in the first stitch, and then we can chain one. And we'll skip that second single crochet, and we will do our single crochet into the chain one space from the previous row. And then chain one, single crochet into the chain one space from the previous row. And I'm going to repeat that all the way across for row number 23. Here I am at the end of row number 23. I'm gonna put my last single crochet in that chain one space, and then there's one single crochet at the end of the row, so I'm just going to put a single crochet at the end of the row there. And then, oh, I forgot, I wanna change yarn colors, so let me grab my new yarn color. So to finish up row number 23, I'm gonna insert my hook into that last stitch, yarn over and pull up a loop, and then with my new yarn color, I'm choosing this lovely dark green, I'll finish the single crochet, and then I'll drop my tail and chain one and turn. Now from 24 all the way up to row number 60, we're going to be doing the exact same thing. So between this short row, we're gonna do 2 rows of any one color. I'm sticking to the Christmas theme, but 2 rows of any one color all the way up to row number 60. So we're gonna continue that exact same thing from row number 24 all the way up to row number 60. And hey, by the way, if you're liking this tutorial so far, don't forget to click the like button. It really helps the channel grow, and we are on a growth spurt, so please take a second and smash that thumbs up. Thank you. All right, here I am at the end of row number 60, and this stocking is starting to look really stocking-like. I'm gonna pull this last stitch through, and I'm gonna show you what this thing is looking like so far. All right, so we've ended up with a large T, and when we fold this in half, we end up with a stocking shape. See? Isn't that so cute? Okay, so now that we've got all of the rows done, let me just measure it out for you. So at this point, we have just a little over 13 inches long, and then the body portion is about 6 inches, and then the foot portion is about 5 inches, and the length of that foot portion is about 9. So 9 inches, 6 inches, 13 inches. Is that not adorable? Now it's time for us to sew this thing together and then get some finishing stuff going on. I think maybe some embroidery. Well, we'll see. Let's start with sewing it together. So I've decided we're going to single crochet this together. So I've got the working loop on the back piece of the fabric here. I'm gonna fold the stocking over onto itself, and then I'm gonna insert my hook into the first stitch here on the side that does not have the working loop. Insert the hook into there, and then I'm going to insert the hook into the working loop, pull that down a little bit, insert the hook into the working loop, and then draw that working loop through to connect the top portion of the work. And now we're gonna go ahead and single crochet down this row. So I'm gonna insert the hook into the next row, the first stitch, on both pieces of fabric, yarn over, pull up a loop. I've got 2 loops on the hook, yarn over and pull through both loops. And then into the next row, the first stitch of each row, I'm going to do a single crochet in order to connect these 2 sides. And I'm gonna keep my stitches nice and even and nice and tight so that the seam has a nice finished look to it. And we're just gonna work our way down the work until we get to the corner where we change direction. So I'm gonna go through this part, zoom through it, and I'll meet you at the corner of the stocking. All right, I made it to the end of this row, the front side of our stocking, and now it's time to move down the top of the foot of our stocking. So what I'm gonna do is in this stitch, so we've just put it in our last row, and now we're gonna switch into this red part. So you can see here is the corner stitch. There's the stitch that we just put in is coming out of this row, and then we're going to be working into this stitch here, the actual corner stitch. And I'm just going to put 1 single crochet into that corner stitch, and then that will turn us so that we're working down the row. And then I am going to just single crochet down this row to connect these two together. Okay, I have an idea. I kind of want to make this curved, like have it go down in a curve, but I don't want to pull back all my work. So I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna fold over the corner, and maybe I'll use a stitch marker just to sort of secure it down where I want it. But I'm gonna fold over the corner so that it creates a perfect diagonal line, like a right angle. So I'm just gonna line it up with one of the rows and line it up with the stitches. And then I'll stitch marker that down, and I'm gonna do it to both sides. And now that they're stuck down, I think what I'm gonna do is, well, let me put my last single crochet into these next 2 stitches. I think I'm gonna try and crochet through the edges of the stitch in order to move down that curve to create a curved toe. I'll let you know if it works, and if it does, this is gonna be really cool. These bits are gonna be on the inside of the work anyway, so it's not gonna be a big deal. It's just figuring out where to put the hook that's kind of the troublesome bit. So now instead of going straight across, it goes down on an angle. How's it look from the other side? Let me check. Oh, that looks cute. Okay, I like that. I like that curve down. Looks kind of like a boot now. Fun. All right, now from here, I'm just going to single crochet down the rest of the front until I meet the bottom row. All right, I've made it to the bottom of the work. I've just put my last single crochet in. I'm gonna put a second single crochet into the same space just to help us sort of turn around that corner. And now I'm going to single crochet the bottom together the same way. 1 stitch in each stitch down, though this time we'll be working on the underside of our initial chain, so it's not going to feel the same exactly. It'll be a little bit thinner, but I'm just going to single crochet across until I'm almost at the corner, maybe about 5 stitches away from the corner. I changed my mind. I'm just going to go straight down this row all the way to the corner, and when I get to the corner, I'm going to secure off, and we are going to be finished putting it together, and then we'll have to do our finishing touches. All right, here I am at the end of the row, and I've decided I want to turn around and go ahead and slip stitch all the way back to the beginning here. So I'm going to put 1 slip stitch in each of my single crochets all the way around until I'm back at the top of the work. So I'm going to just zoom through this because it's just slip stitches, but I'm putting 1 slip stitch in each of those single crochets, and that's just going to create a thicker seam here, and I like how it looks. So that's what I'm going to do. You can leave it at the single crochet if you want to. Look at my yarn chicken. I have this much yarn left, and this is how many stitches I have left. I won. Yarn chicken. It is a Christmas miracle. All right, I'm just going to put my last slip stitch in here, and then I'm going to pull it through. I'll trim my yarn, and then I'm going to weave in this end, and then we can get to some more details. All right. So now we've got the whole seam finished, and because we did that slip stitch, we have this nice thick finished seam, and I just think it looks really pretty. And then where we did that toe flap, it'll be sort of thicker here, which is going to round out the front of the toe. So I'm gonna just put this right side out now. We'll get the seam on the inside of our stocking. Oh my gosh, I love how these colors look together. How cute is this? All right, and then we'll push out all of our seams. Oh my goodness, how cute is this? That is adorable. All right, so I fiddled around with the seams a little bit, just sort of pressing everything out where I want it. And here is the final shape for the bottom. We've got a nice flat bottom, then we've got that curved toe because we did that weird single crochet over the corner thing, which turned out really cool. And then it's got this seam in the front. And then now it's time for us to do some work on the top so that we can add a little hanger so you can hang it on your fireplace, as well as some extra details just to jazz it up a little bit. So I'm going to go back in with my red and white, and I'm gonna go at the back side of the work here. And I'm going to just connect my yarn by pulling up a loop with the hook, and then I'm gonna drop the tail, I'm gonna chain 1, and then into the same stitch that I just did that in, I'm gonna put a single crochet. And now before we do anything else, I'm going to do a whole round of single crochets. So I'm going to do 1 single crochet in each of the stitches all the way around. So 1 single crochet in the single crochet stitches and 1 single crochet in the chain 1 spaces. And when I get back to the end of the round, I'll show you what we're going to do next. All right, here I am at the end of that row. I'm just going to put my last couple of single crochets in. There's 1, and there is my last 1. And then I'm gonna join the round by slip stitching through that chain 1 we started the round with. And now we're gonna start the next round with a chain of 15. 1, 2, 3, 13, 14, and 15. Now in the same stitch that the chain came out of, we're going to slip stitch back to that same spot. Now that we've slip stitched back to the round, we're going to do a chain 2. Chain 1, chain 2. Now in the same space again, we're going to put a double crochet. That chain 2 we just did is going to represent a double crochet. So there's 2 double crochets right now coming out of 1 stitch. This we're going to be ignoring for this row. This is our little hanger for the stocking to hang off of the mantle. Now for this next row, we're going to do 2 double crochets in each stitch all the way around. That's going to create a bit of a ruffle around the edge of the work. So 2 double crochets in each stitch around. And I'm just going to use the exact same yarn I've used for the previous round. All right, here I am at the end of that row of double crochets. And now I'm at the stitch that the chain 15 is coming out of. I'm going to, in this stitch right here, right where that 15 is coming out of, I'm going to do 2 double crochets in there. There's 1 and there's 2. And now I'm going to join this round. I'm going to just ignore this little tie, pull it out and ignore it. And then I'm going to insert my hook into that chain 2 that we started this round with. And I am going to join the round, but I'm going to also incorporate a new color now because we're going to do some picot sort of spikes on here. So I'm going to cut this red and white yarn at this point, and I think we're going to switch back into the green. I like this green, so I want to finish with this green. All right, so I'm going to close the round up with both sets of yarns with a slip stitch just like that, and then I'll drop all of those tails, and I'm going to do a chain 1 with the green, and I'm going to pull those tails down. All right. So here's my big plan. So we're going to be working in these sets of 2 double crochets. So you can see there's multiple sets. Every one of these 2 double crochets coming out of 1 single crochet. We're going to be working those kind of like in their own sections. So I'm going to start the round with a single crochet into the first of those 2 double crochets. Then I'm going to chain 3. 1, 2, and 3. And then in the second chain from the hook, I'm going to do a slip stitch. And then in the second double crochet, I'm going to do a single crochet, just like that. And that's going to create a little sort of point on the edge of the work. And then we're going to single crochet into the next stitch because the next one is another of the first of the 2 double crochets. And then we're going to chain 3, 1, 2, 3. And then in the second chain from the hook, 1, 2, I'm going to slip stitch. So insert the hook, yarn over, and pull through both loops on the hook. And then into the next double crochet, I'll do another single crochet. And then in the next stitch, which is the first of 2 double crochets, I'll do a single crochet, chain 3, 1, 2, 3. In the second chain, I will slip stitch, and then I'll single crochet in the next stitch. And now we're in another set of 2 double crochets. I'm going to be repeating that all the way around. So single crochet, chain 3, slip stitch into the second chain from the hook, single crochet, chain 3, 1, 2, 3, slip stitch into the second chain from the hook, single crochet in the next stitch. And I'm going to repeat that all the way around for this round. All right, here I am just at the end of the round. Got my single crochet, chain 3, slip stitch into the second chain, and then single crochet in the next stitch. And now the first single crochet here, the first chain 1, that's going to be where we join the round. And I'm just going to join it with a slip stitch like that. Then I'm going to do a chain 1 and pull it through. And now you can see what those picot stitches did. By doing that slip stitch and the chain 1, we get this really cute sort of spiky edge on it, which is very cute, I think. So we're just going to organize this sort of ruffle so that it looks cute and even all the way around. Okay, so I have this idea to add a letter to the front of the stocking, and I think I'm going to do a letter R, which is super cute, and I'm going to show you how I do it. So I went with a smaller hook for this. I went with a 2.5mm hook and then some white yarn, and I did a chain of 95. So I'm going to chain, I'm just going to show you with a chain of 20. 1, 2, 3, 4, 19, 20. And then I slip stitched into the second chain from the hook, and then I slip stitched all the way down the chain. And that just created this really pretty sort of braid. It's like a thicker chain. I use this a lot with drawstring items, but this is gonna work perfectly to create a letter. So you go ahead and make yours whatever letter you want. I've just decided R is a cute letter for us to go with. So this is my little cursive R. Hopefully I can make it stay the way that I sort of organized it. I think it should be. I feel like I just need it to sit the way that I want. All right, now I'm gonna get some yarn and I'm gonna stitch this down. All right, so I've got some thread and I have threaded up my needle, and I'm gonna try to stitch this down in the way it's currently sitting without accidentally stitching the stocking itself. Just gonna go through one layer of the stocking. I don't wanna accidentally attach the stocking to itself. I'm gonna put my hand in here, but that makes it difficult. Oh, I hope I can get this to work because it's very cute. This is the part where the tutorial is going off the rails a little bit because I don't know exactly what I'm doing, but I know what I want to be doing. Alrighty, that took nearly 15 minutes, but I think it was worth it. I think this came out so cute. What do you think? How fun is that? Adding a little letter to it to make it special. And then we've got the little hanger. All right, let's get this outro done. Ta-da! Here's the final stocking, friends. What do you think? I think the embroidered little letter adds some extra whimsy, and I highly recommend you do something like this also just to jazz it up a little bit. We've got that tapered top to the boot, and then the flat bottom, great for stuffing with all your Christmas goodies. And then by having that little frilled outside as well as the picot on the edge of the top, we end up with this really sweet little, kind of reminds me of like an elf's stocking. What do you think? Or like an elf's collar. And then we've got our little hanger to hang it off of the fireplace. Check out what it looks like actually hanging on a fireplace. I think this came out amazing. I love how we did two rows of each color to create that Christmas striped look. And by combining the yarns, I think we got a little bit of an extra whimsy sort of antique vibe, like an old school stocking. Let me know what you think in the comments down below, and if you're gonna be making a stocking like this for this Christmas, or maybe for next Christmas if you are a little bit late to the game and just coming in here after the holiday season. Hopefully I've given you enough time. I think this thing took me about 3 hours to complete. That being said, I was filming, so you could probably get it done a little bit quicker than that. Like I said, let me know in the comments if you like this one and what you'd like me to crochet next. By the way, thank you so much to everyone supporting the channel this month. Merry Christmas, happy holidays, all of the good vibes to you. Here's the list of everyone supporting the channel. If you'd like to show your support, check out the links in the description down below. Along with those links, I will also link all related tutorials, so if you're new to crochet and this was a little too complicated for you, all of the basic tutorials will be down in the description. Like I said, friends, that is all I've got for you today. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next week. Bye!